Hello, everyone. I just wanted to take a few moments and tell a little story and think of it as a public service announcement, perhaps. It's in regards to my German Shepherd, Daisy, and an event that happened here at my home in North Carolina. And when you think that life is just every going well and everything is protected and your pet's safe. So I moved here several years ago into this home, and I had an 8-foot privacy fence, wood privacy fence, put around about a half an acre behind my house and my property. And I did that because I had a German Shepherd and I had a Boston Terrier. And we want to keep our pets safe because they're family members, and I love them like they were my little toddlers. So I had the fence installed, and I have a gate that keep locked. So I'm thinking that when I open my back door, that when my dogs go out, they're in a safe, secure area, and everything is going to be fine, and they're safe out there. So I work from home most of the time, and I'm working and I come downstairs. Well, on this particular day, I was off in the afternoon. So this happened in December. So I had opened the back door and let both dogs out. Now, I'll pause here to say that my German Shepherd's rabies shot, she was due to get her shot the previous September. And I had it on my list to do. You know how life happens. Um, I had a plan to take her and get her rabies shot. The vet that we had built a relationship here, that vet had relocated about 45 minutes away, and he was building a new facility that will be like 30 minutes away or closer, perhaps. I'm not sure. It doesn't matter. But anyway, I had planned to make an appointment to take her to get her rabies shot. But life goes on, and it's now December, and she was expecting a rabies shot in September. So you think September, October, November, December, 4 months, no biggie. She's not exposed to anything. She's inside an 8-foot privacy fence, half an acre to run around in with my Boston Terrier. Now, the Boston had had some eye issues, so he had had his rabies shot timely. But the shepherd, it's difficult to put an 85-pound shepherd in the car by herself when she doesn't want to go in there. So that was another hurdle. So again, she was expecting a rabies shot in September. It's now December. I let her out. It's dusk outside, right? So now, backstory, this German Shepherd has Wobbler syndrome. Wobbler syndrome is a genetic birth defect to where, blame the breeder, but it causes like her back leg mobility. She's agile, but after years and years of working with her, she was doing much better, and I was so impressed. And she had even had a trainer come here to work with her as well. And um, for about, I don't know, 15 sessions maybe. So, had a lot of time in this shepherd who was like my baby girl. but she would leap off of my back porch, which is about 3 feet off the ground. I have steps there, of course, but she would leap off the porch instead of going down the steps, but she would come up the steps one by one. Anyway, so this is my assumption of what may have happened. Perhaps when she leaped off the porch with an abundance of energy to run to the back of the yard to do her run around by the fence line like our pets do, um, there happened to be a fox inside the fenced in area. This fox, um, not sure how it got there, why it got there. There's no food of any sort fed or in the backyard area, no bird feeders with seed, nothing. Fox is not going to eat seed anyway, but I'm not sure why the fox decided to choose my backyard to enter to scale an 8-foot wood privacy fence with woods around the area to come into my area, to come into my yard. But nonetheless, the fox was there, about midway of nearly a half an acre yard. Well, when Daisy, the German Shepherd, leaped off of the porch and with an abundance of energy ran to the backyard, I think she startled the fox. Luckily, my Boston Terrier opted not to go out at that particular time, and it was only the shepherd there. So within just a few seconds of me closing the door, now I didn't see the fox out there, of course, because it's dark in the back of the yard, but I did hear the shepherd begin to squall. So I grabbed the flashlight, out the door I go, and I see that I can see what I would describe as rustling in the back area of my yard. And I could tell when I came off the porch and shined the light closer that she was on her back. So I came back to the house and I had a wooden dowel rod that was actually a piece of a curtain rod that, anyway, so I retrieved, let's say, approximately 4-foot wooden, round, solid wood dowel rod, maybe 2 inches in diameter. Doesn't matter. Anyway, I grabbed this wooden piece of wood and rod, and I took out through the yard, and I actually had to battle the fox myself. I hit the fox several times. In all honesty, um, I was attempting to seriously harm it, seriously, because now my dog is hurt. She's bleeding, head, snout, ear, um, hip, underbelly. She's hurt, seriously hurt. Now, the fox, I watched the fox run to the back of the yard. Again, I'm after it. I'm trying to hit it. I knew that this fox should not be out there. And I was concerned about the safety of my animal and myself, actually. But anyway, I did hit the fox several times. Nonetheless, it was able to flee, went over the back fence, it jumped mid fence and scaled up the difference to go over the top of the fence. Now, at this point, I'm in an absolute panic, adrenaline panic. And I am serious. I'm concerned that my German Shepherd is seriously injured. So I was able to help her get up after considerable effort. I was able to half carry, half guide, get her into the house. Got a towel, was trying to look at her. She's whimpering and crying in definite distress. Call my daughter, lives around the corner. Luckily, she came on the ready. We loaded up the shepherd. We took her to the emergency vet about 45 minutes away. Fortunately, the vet that we had selected, he happened to be the one on duty at the emergency vet hospital that was maybe not quite an hour away. We get there. Daisy is injured, seriously injured. Um, they cleansed and treated her wounds, and we had a discussion about rabies. We discussed that her rabies shot was due again in the previous September. It was a 3-year rabies vaccination due for the booster, I guess, or replacement in September. This is now December again. So the vet says that night, and I have absolute faith in him. He's been wonderful. He even made a house call here on Daisy's behalf when I had her spayed, and that's a different topic. But anyway, great guy. So he assured me that there should be no repercussions with the rabies, that take her and get a rabies shot, hopefully within the next 24 hours, 48 hours at maximum. Take her and get a rabies shot. Unbelievably, to me, they do not give rabies shots at the emergency vet that I was visiting that night. But we were there. They cleaned the wounds. Nothing required stitches. One little place, actually 2 little places on her underbelly, they used what I would refer to as super glue to close those wounds. She had a wound on her snout near her nose that was clear through. It actually punctured by her nose on the snout, punctured clear through into her mouth. And they cleansed that several times. Anyway, they gave us antibiotics at the vet. She had a couple of injections, and one for pain, one for antibiotics. Gave me prescription pain medication and oral antibiotics. So we come home wee hours in the morning after being there for several hours, and it's very expensive to go to the vet hospital after hours. I think that vet bill was a little over $600. So we come home with Daisy. She's a little sedated from the pain injection at the vet. We get her in, snuggle her in her little bed. So we proceed for the next day. Next day, I get up early. I call a vet around the corner, since I don't think it's best to struggle with her to get her in the car and drive her 45 minutes away to see the vet we saw the day before. So, excuse me, I take her to the vet. Now, we didn't know anything about this vet other than I knew her from a business relationship at a previous job that I had. So I'd met her there. She was new to town, new location for her, irregardless. She was a vet. So I take Daisy there. She examines her and She gives her rabies vaccination. She looks over the wounds, and she can't believe that we had a fox inside the fence. And I placed a call to wildlife people. There's nothing they can do, basically, nothing. They talked to me and took a report, per se, over the phone of an event of a suspicious rabid animal that I can't say attacked my dog, but I, I want to say attacked my dog because my interpretation of what happened is my dog was attacked inside a fenced in area. So, but again, a German Shepherd's bigger than a fox, and you wouldn't imagine that the shepherd would be harmed because most shepherds have a bit more aggression than you would imagine a fox to have. But again, Daisy has wobbler syndrome, so she's a bit of a handicapped creature. So that vet that day, second visit, says to me that I need to be mindful of rabies, of course, and that I should watch her until she recommended the middle of February, so approximately 60 days, even though she got the rabies injection that day. Now, fast forward, I think that Daisy's recovering well from the incident. There's no other sightings of the fox that I'm aware of. I had called the neighbor that lived behind me. I had advised my other neighbors. I put a comment on Nextdoor, a comment on Facebook, and no sightings of the fox. And Daisy, I think, is recovering well. She's as agile as she was before, seems to be no overall impact. Her wounds are healed. We completed the medication of the antibiotics. The vet from the emergency hospital that we are familiar with had called and followed up twice, actually. And I think that everything is okay. We've escaped harm. So now let's fast forward to February 4th. Now, I live in an old historic house. It's over 100 years old, and I have wood floors. And German Shepherds have heavier claws. And when a German Shepherd is walking on the wood floor, you hear them. Okay. It's a noise we get accustomed to. And it's the pitter patter of little paws, heavy paws, I guess, not little. But anyway, so, excuse me, February 4th, I'm awakened by what I associate with the sound of Daisy on the wood floor. Hey, I need to go out. Come on, get up, get up. I got to go. I got to go potty right now, right on the wood floor, kind of going around and around, because that's another symptom of wobblers is they tend to gyrate in a circle randomly. So I guess wobbler syndrome could be another discussion. But anyway, they do a circle movement. So I get up. I'm on the left side of the bed. The room is dark. It's barely daylight. And I come around the end of the bed and I'm talking to her. Okay, little girl, I'm coming. Hold on. Hold your panties, girl. I'm coming. I'm coming to let you out. Just sweet talking her like, okay, I'm coming. So I come around the end of the bed, and to my dismay, Daisy is not walking around. I see her on the floor. I flip on the light, and she's actually having seizures. She's having a seizure. And she is foaming at the mouth. So now I just been awakened. So I'm kind of startled. I'm not yet at full capacity per se. And I see my shepherd in the floor having a seizure. She's never had a seizure before, foaming at the mouth. There's actually a puddle of white foam on the floor. Now, I learned a valuable lesson that I want to share with others. Several things that I want to make a valid point of with this video. But one of which is when your beloved animal, regardless of how sweet, how gentle, regardless, when your beloved animal is in a seizure, do not approach them. They are not of the mindset with reality. They are in pain, they are in a panic, and they are not responsible. Now, this German Shepherd was, and I'll say was, a very gentile, docile, no awareness that she was a German Shepherd and had the propensity to defend whatever she may choose to defend. Okay. She was a very humble, loving, demure, sweet baby dog. Now, in her moment of seizure and in my moment of distress and panic, I kneeled down on the floor and I put my hands on her because I'm thinking that I'm going to comfort her. And maybe I did comfort her. I'm not sure, never know. But what happened in this particular moment is when I put my hands on her for a few moments, I could feel her heartbeat slow down a bit. Well, when you know it, I do need to plug in my laptop. So forgive me as I step away to give us more power. All right. I think that might be an important thing for me to check before I started this action, but here we are. So give me a moment. Okay. We should be fine now. So in this moment, I put my hands on her and I'm telling her, um, I'm going to help you. What's happening to you? I can't believe. I'm so sorry. What is happening? I'm going to take you to the vet right now. Stay with me. What's happening? And I could feel her fast heartbeat slow. I could feel she was calming down. I felt like I was comforting her and she was calming down. Her eyes were kind of rolled back in her head. She was in a seizure state. So, in a few moments, she kind of came around, is how I would describe it. She came to herself. And I have my face on her snout, and I'm being affectionate, and I'm trying to soothe her, and I'm petting her head. I'm thinking that I'm going to try to get her to stand to help her. And I felt something I had my hand on her chest between her front feet, and I felt almost like a gurgle, uh, burp. I felt something there. And I Now, at this moment, my face is my face is directly on her face. And I'm, again, trying to comfort her, thinking I'm comforting her. And at this particular moment, she grabbed the back of my head, full open mouth, grabbed the back of my head, and a bite, aggressive bite. And I was fortunate enough to pull back, and I'm trying to now, I'm in the floor. I'm in the floor by her, and I'm trying to stand, trying to get my wits about me. We're at a different level now. We're in a different zone. She is full teeth, uh, full, uh, all of her teeth are exposed. She's in a snarl, and she has grabbed the back of my head. The back of my head, when I rubbed the back of my head, there was some blood there, and not serious. However, when I stood up, it became serious. um, she lunged at me, and she grabbed my hand, and my hand suffered serious injury. And at this point, I have a Boston Terrier. He's still snuggled up in the bed under covers. I'm now in an accelerated mindset. I'm in a panic again, and I don't know really what to do. So I look down at my hand, and I can see exposed bone. My index finger wound is quite serious. Multiple wounds on my hand from the bite. And she is in a my shepherd is now in a um, growling, snarling, teeth exposed, foaming at the mouth. The floor was wet. Um, so she was, due to wobblers, having difficulty getting herself up on the wet, slick wood floor. I got the Boston Terrier, came out and pulled the door to. I don't really know what to do at this point. My hand is seriously injured and bleeding profusely. And I have a dog in the room that, for lack of a better description, like you saw the old movie Cujo? I have Cujo in my room. My beloved baby girl dog with eyes like Bambi, sweetest little thing, is now like Cujo, junkyard dog, on the other side of the door. So I call my daughter again to the rescue. I need help. I'm injured. I put the Boston Terrier in another room behind a closed door. My daughter arrives quickly. Uh, I'm trying to irrigate my wound with running water and bandage it, trying to put a tourniquet. Um, my index finger is, I'm thinking, may not be able to be saved, as well as my middle finger, first joint, my ring finger from below the nail to the first knuckle. Between my pinky and my ring finger is a very deep wound, palm of my hand. Anyway, so I call animal control and ask for them to come. I call, we're trying to think of, what do you do? Don't know. So fortunately, I'd done a lot of work with feral cats in my neighborhood, and I had some connections with animal control and with animal rescue. And my daughter, we're reaching out to some resources. And anyway, after about an hour, the animal control officer arrives. I'm still here, injured, not knowing what to do. What no one There's no resource. You can't say, "Hey Google, help me. I have a rabid um, animal in my bedroom." And no one tells you what to do. You don't know what to do. And this is my beloved pet, so don't know what to do. And everyone's concerned about me and my injury. I'm concerned about the dog and what has happened. What do we do? Is there recovery? Anyway, so long story short, um, animal control is able to subdue the dog. Um, my daughter agrees to take the dog muzzled, subdued in a crate to the vet. That's 45 minutes away in my SUV. So when you put a snarling, well, she's subdued. So she's sedated, subdued. And my daughter drives her to the vet. My neighbor takes me to the emergency room. I have a total of maybe, they don't like to suture dog wounds, they want to leave them open um, for infection and healing. And so um, I had maybe 24 stitches put in my hand to close wounds. Um, and I'd have rabies injections. So the dog, the vet said that she needed to be quarantined 14 days. So she's transported to um, the animal shelter where they have people there that are more trained than what I am. And they have the resources for a location for her to be comfortably quarantined, to still be fed, watered, a resource for her to still be able to go out and put back in safely and securely for everyone's safety. Anyway, with a broken heart, I agreed. Well, I really had no alternative other than to agree to have her quarantined at the animal shelter. And you hope and you pray and you want everything to be okay, um, so that my baby girl, beautiful, beautiful specimen of a German Shepherd, could come back home and be with me. And life can be as it was before. So I'm taken to the emergency room. And again, so I want to talk a little bit about the rabies injections for a person. So there's lots of different rumors and stories and falsehoods about rabies and people. So they don't give you the rabies injection in your stomach. That's not true. So what they do, and no one talks about, and I was unprepared for. Now it was maybe 4 to 5 hours before I arrived at the emergency room because I'm trying to get the dog settled. There was discussions about, there was several people here. We have animal control officer, we have the police. Just it turns into an event. Anyway, so let's say 4+ hours before I'm actually getting treatment. So they irrigate my wounds and they inject you into each wound that is visible. Any skin puncture point, they inject you with a skinny little narrow needle, a skinny little needle. They advise me it needs to be in an inch to an inch and a half into each wound to put the rabies medication in there. They cannot give you sedation, or they did not sedate me. So when I say it hurts like hell, that's an understatement, because now these wounds, your nerve endings, due to the timeline that had passed, the nerve endings are, I'm feeling every pain. And it's very painful when they inject that into each wound. And so they go four different directions for whatever reason may be that they decided to do this at my local emergency room. They put 4 shots in each puncture wound. They cannot give you lidocaine, or they can't numb it, because that could interfere with the dose of the rabies medication in some way, diluted, or I don't know the professional terminology, but they inject each wound approximately 4 times with the rabies. And then came home. Rabies injections make you feel sick. Maybe the whole event made me feel sick. I was heart sick. My dog wasn't here. My protector, my ears for security measure, confidence, my fur baby, snuggle bunny, all the things when you have a beloved pet that's near and dear to your heart as a family member. You miss them. So Daisy May, the beloved German Shepherd, unfortunately had to be put down on Valentine's Day, February 14th, 2025. I'm not sure that my heart will heal. Today's April 30th, 2025, and I still miss her oh so much, so much. I still have Daisy's sparkle hair. You find it in the most unique, weird places. Constant reminder, forever in my heart, Daisy May. And I had the injections that day, and then they give you a calendar of days that you go back and you have a rabies injection, like left arm, then you have right arm, for example, left hip, right hip. I should have pulled out the paperwork to reference before I did this video, but I'd been meaning to do it and doing it on the fly, actually, as a PSA. And I don't have the exact, I think that it took 2 weeks to get the complete round of rabies injections. Now, no one talks about the expense of these rabies injections. They are approximately less, I think that it was over $6,000 for them. Maybe a little bit more total. My emergency room visit that one particular day was around $19,000. So when you think about your animal needs a rabies vaccine, don't put it off. Don't put it off. If the vet says this rabies injection is good for a year and it's in September, do everything in your power to go back September of the following year and get that rabies injection. If you get the 3 years rabies shot vaccine and they say September of 2021 and you're supposed to be back there September of 2024, whatever the date is, do it. Just do it. If your animal is not vaccinated for rabies, I encourage you to go tomorrow and get an appointment. Do whatever you need to do to get your animal, cats, dogs, rabies vaccinated. So even if there are no other animals that are exposed to your animals, you cannot control Mother Nature and wildlife. I never dreamed I'd have a fox in my backyard. I never dreamed that my shepherd would encounter a fox or any other wild creature. Yes, there's feral cats here. The feral cats, they were not coming into the backyard. I guess they could sense I don't know why, but I didn't have the feral cats inside the fenced-in area. They just didn't come in. No need for them to. I don't know if they had a detection of the dog aroma, but I had not seen a feral cat in my backyard. Anyway, I didn't feed them there. They weren't there. But the point of this is get a rabies vaccine for your animal. And when they're due for the next dose, be on point with that date, because from September to December, I had this event happen. And not only was it a tremendous expense for my dog, emergency room visit, emergency hospital, $600 approximate. Next day at the vet, like $160, I think, something like that. Then the vet visit in February when she had slipped into a new zone with a seizure. That vet visit plus at the animal shelter. And, you want to provide the food and so forth while your pet's there, even if they're being quarantined. And then the hospital emergency room visit expense for myself. And then I had to go back to the emergency room to get the rabies injections. And of course, they still bill you for an emergency room visit, even though they're requiring you to come there to get the vaccine, which made no sense, but you have no rebuttal. Healthcare, that's a whole other topic. But the point of this video is get your animals their rabies vaccine and get them on an ongoing basis, even if your pet does not go outside. If you have a house cat that never goes out, still get the rabies vaccine, because you just don't know. You don't know. And I'll say that my German Shepherd gave me a lot of joy, a lot of love, and I do miss her, and she can't be replaced. So the expense of that is tears, sorrow, sadness, regret, remorse, all those things. And second point of this is, if your animal's having a seizure, they don't know you. They don't know what's happening to them. They cannot identify. So if your animal is in distress and having a medical event, the best thing to do is let the crisis subside if you can. For example, with a seizure, call the vet before you do anything. Just call the vet. And then if you're home alone, wait till someone else arrives so that if you are injured, at least you would have someone right there to assist you at the moment. So if you've listened this far, I thank you. If you take heed to what I'm saying regarding the rabies vaccine, I'm thankful. And I hope that this message will make a difference with rabies and human encounter, animal encounter, either or. And just pet your fur baby, snuggle them up close, be thankful for them. Don't take a moment with them for granted. And I hope y'all have a happy day. Take care. Best wishes. Love your fur babies.